want to talk to you about niche selection and choosing the niche for your agency, whether it's automation agency or just traditional marketing agency. I do have to apologise, the PowerPoint presentation isn't particularly exciting, but this is some really fundamental knowledge that I wish I knew before doing all of this, because I kind of hopped niches to start with, and I think it genuinely stagnated my growth because I was too busy being like, oh, let's try this, let's try that. And honestly, you learn so much, and it's just the repetition of doing and doing and doing and doing and doing and doing that makes you good and better than the rest of the market, because your value is literally linked to that and that only. Hello, my name is Daniel Spence and I run Automation X, which is an automation agency that builds really cool automations and lead generation. So let's jump into it. The first bit is whether or not they're easy to contact, which might seem like quite an obvious one, but lawyers and dentists don't check their email, they don't answer the phone. The people who can make those decisions are busy doing stuff. So getting hold of them is really, really difficult. There is ways around it. You can kind of cold call and try and get around the gatekeeper and stuff like that. But these guys charge a lot of money for their time, and therefore aren't particularly willing to give you 15 minutes of their time. Like 15 minutes of their time is like 50 quid, $50. So it's expensive for them to waste time talking to you. There is ways around it and stuff like that, but just sit and think like, okay, when I'm targeting these people, are they answering the phone? Because you can go for like accountants. Accountants isn't a particularly good one actually, but like plumbers or dentists or, plumbers or tradesmen or something like that, where they're on their phone, answering their phone, emails, whatever it is, and just like actually think about what is the main form of contact that customers use to get in front of them. Follow me for loads more tips. Or like, how would that owner answer their messages? Is it Facebook? Is it LinkedIn? Is it like, just sit and think about that, because the more of these streams that you've got, the better. But realistically, if you know that you've got a way that you can get hold of lawyers' phone numbers and text them, you're probably going to do really well. But just take that into consideration when you're doing it, because you'll find that people who are on the phones all the time are really dead easy to get hold of, or who are checking their emails all the time are really dead easy to get hold of, and it just kind of like snowballs from there. The next thing is your experience, which learning how to run an agency, if you haven't done this before, you've got to learn how to do the sales calls, you've got to learn how to do the outreach, you've got to learn how to do service delivery work. And if you can literally wipe all of this off, just because you know how to speak that lingo, because you used to work in, even if it's like a restaurant and you're going to do paid ads for restaurants, like that's a brilliant little niche. You know the lingo, you know what they would look for, they know, you know how it works, you know how kind of their information's laid out, you know how to get hold of them because you were there, and all of this, and it just kind of like builds up and builds up and builds up. There's loads and loads of really successful agency owners that I know that have gone and tried different places in the market and then gone, actually I know a lot about X, Y and Z from my previous job or my previous life, and go back to that and do really, really well off the back of it. It's very rare it's the other way around. It's very rare that somebody goes into an industry that they've been working on forever and know loads about and don't succeed. They genuinely, I don't know of anyone who's done that. So money, the next thing. Do they have any of it? This is a difficult one to judge, because one of my first niches was super yachts, and I was like, I'm going to build automations for them. Brilliant idea. They've got loads of money. They make like enough to pay off their house deposit, their mortgage with one single transaction, and have change left over. But actually, if you look at it, the model's basically the same as realtors in the States. It's very individual. It's very, very low base salaries, and the rest is just paid on commission. Follow me for loads more tips. People do it for the lifestyle more than anything. And then the kind of the yacht hire and stuff like that side of it, you're lucky if they rent it out for 12 weeks of the year, and that will pay for running of this super yacht. So for 12 weeks of the year, you need absolute max 12 customers, but really you're probably looking like 8-9 customers a year. Do you know, like, if you were to come along and be like, oh, I can get you 27 clients, they'd be like, I have no idea what I'd do with that. and it's just a personal relationship of like messaging these people to be like, this is what we've got on offer, this is what it looks like. And like, yeah, so anyway, less so about money, but like they didn't actually have any money. Like if I could speak to the big boss man, then yes, he would, but if speaking to the individual agents and stuff like that, they're broke. They're just trying to make their next sale or next commission or whatever. So just bear that in mind when you're kind of looking around. If you're wanting to make some serious money, it's best if the people you're working with are making serious money. Or you've got to go down the like scattergun approach and have like 500 clients because you know you can make 100 quid off each one. Boom, brilliant, there's your 5 grand. But if you can work with 2 clients and charge 5 grand each, because they're making 100 grand a month anyway, and you're able to increase their sales by 10%, they'll happily give you 5 grand because that's half. You're making them double the money. But yeah, just something to think about and just kind of configure your brain around. Follow me for loads more tips. The other thing is high volume and high ticket. So we were looking at doing pay on results model where basically they pay per booked meeting, pay per kind of lead, pay per kind of like these options. At the time, and we still are kind of doing, is PR agencies. The problem is that these guys need like 5 people, like not even a month, like 5 people a quarter, but they are charging like £7,000-8,000 retainers, so you get away with it because of the high ticket size. But if you turn around and do pay on results, like, oh, I'll book you as many meetings as you want, if you send them more than even 15 meetings on the basis that they're working on a 30% close rate, like you can send them 15 a month, 15 a quarter, and that's like it. So if you're charging 100 quid, you're limited to £1,500 per quarter on that kind of style of model. Don't get me wrong, if you're doing paid ads or something like that and not doing pay on results, then you can just go in at a higher ticket price and be like, look, it's 4 grand a month, I'll bring you 2 clients. And they're really happy with that. But that's only because of the high ticket element. So it's just kind of getting that balance right. Whereas if you were to do plumbers and you'd be like, oh, just pay me £2 per job I send in your direction, and you're able to get them 50 jobs, then like it adds up. And just think about that when you're doing it. £2 is probably not worthwhile you doing in your ad spend, will be more than that. However, you get what I mean. Just kind of sit and think about, are they high volume, are they high ticket? Basically, is there lots of turnover going? Ideally, you want high volume because then if you can increase it by 10%, that's a massive number. High ticket is also great because you can kind of do it off the back of that. Like we've got one client who pays us £1,000 for every client that he signs because he's charging 10 grand. Super easy to do. Follow me for loads more tips. But just think about that, and you ideally want people who are hungry and ready to grow, and like aren't interested in a very stagnant market. They want to like take it to the next level. They really want to push it. So yeah, just think about that as you're going through and choosing as well. Niche size, this is fairly simple. You want 30,000 people plus, mainly because, to be fair, there's very little industries that are under that nowadays, especially when like you can contact Canada, the US, Australia, Ireland, the UK. Did I say the UK? The UK. And they all speak English. Like it might be slightly different if you're speaking Portuguese or something like that, and only speak Portuguese, and like this might be a bit more flexible. But I really think at 30,000 people in your industry, you can start doing content, and if 1% of that audience watches, like you can convert a good number of people from the content that you're creating. And 30,000 people gives you so much to go at. Like you can kind of cycle through them constantly. I mean, we send more than 30,000 emails a week, but it's because we're targeting loads of different industries with loads of different offers, and even offers for our clients. So just bear that in mind when you're going through. And then this is an added bonus. This isn't really a need, but not enough people to service the market. So if people are super hungry for it and they're just doing something wrong, like we work with a tax advisor, And he is booked up months and months and months in advance. Now he works with us. And we're actually automating the back end of that so that he can now bring more people in, which means we'll make more money, all of us as a collective. But just simply because there isn't enough people servicing this market, everyone wants to pay less tax. Follow me for loads more tips. That's kind of what he helps companies do, so it's about that setup and stuff like that. Really, really interesting. But just if you can find an added bonus of like, there's more demand than there is supply, and you can quite easily just chip away at the funnel and send them that way. There is absolutely no problem with it being like the world's most oversaturated market and loads of people offering this, and there's not as much demand. It just means you have to be more creative with what you're doing. And to be fair, on a selling clients into your agency, it's going to be super easy because these people are going to be so desperate because they're competing with a million other people, and you can really blow it out of the park for them. I hope that was interesting and useful. These genuinely some of the stuff that I wish I knew before starting my agency and kind of like trying different industries. But honestly, just stick at something, find out what their problem is, and then solve it. It might not necessarily be what you think it is straight away. So don't go in with the fact that you're going to do cold email and this is how you're going to help them. If they have no problem getting clients, then they will never pay you, and the clients that you end up working with are going to be the ones who can't get their own clients, which means chances are they can't do the sales calls, they can't do all of these other elements that are out of your control, so they're never going to stick around. And chances are they haven't got the money because they can't actually run a business. So just like genuinely spend some time going through this and thinking about it. But yeah, good luck. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe.